parallel to the European system. And one of the problems we have is how to harmonize the two systems. Because the European system, to harmonize, and you have the governor, you have the local government, and as Professor Tembex pointed out, African people do not like one person dictating what is going to happen. As a result, there has been some attempts to create chiefs in the villages. But why still the Esars and the Onekras and the Epukators, they still rule? And why still Ukejogo, the Epukes, they still rule? And the problem is how to harmonize the two. Because the traditional one does not allow so many evils as we will see revealed by Okumkpo, which the European system allows. For example, Nigeria and many other places, including Afikpo, is known for corruption. But corruption is what the traditional system does not like. Ask any Afikpo person here, if you are a leader or an Afikpo person and you are accused of Irokugoha, you might bear this thing run away from the village. Because that is embezzling the public money. You don't do it. But the problem we have is that the people have not seen the European system of government as their own. And they have not seen that the taxes they pay is just equivalent to the taxes in the traditional system, auto. So when the public contributes money, just like Americans say, they will tell you, that is our tax dollars, that's Ogogoha. If you mess around with it, you will be in serious trouble. And if it was done in secret, Okumkpo will reveal it. And once Okumkpo reveals it, you will be in serious trouble. So it is that trying to match up that system that is what has been our problem. And it is through that system that goes, as I just described, from age group to age group to age group. Each age group, one age group will be told, if there is going like this construction of the road, it goes up. It will begin to share that this age group, you are responsible for this. And you dare not mess up. Because in Afikpo, in all equivalence, Ukenka, that is, my age mates are greater than me. If your age mates are doing something, they are contributing, you must contribute. Because the age group, they do not want any weak link. Because the community sees them as an age group, and they don't want somebody to bring them down. So I'll give you an example when we come to this into Okumkpo, how Okumkpo revealed when the governor of Imo State, Sam Mbakwe, gave 100,000 naira to build Afikpo Polytechnic. And it was given to Ishela, headed by Mr. Awo, and what happened to it? And then Okumkpo revealed it. And what happened after that? They brought out the money. Because many of them were faced with ostracization. Because they did that. So that is the Ogo political institution. Now coming to the masquerades. So what we see here, this is Ebonyi State here. That's where Afikpo is. This is the map of Nigeria, and Afikpo is in Ebonyi State. Okay, and this is the map of Ebonyi State, and we are talking about Afikpo North local government area here. That's where Ottenberg, when he came, it was the Afikpo village groups. So, and this is the roadmap of Ebonyi State. Okay, we have talked about sedentary principles that operate in the Ogo traditional system. This is what one of the things we mentioned we will talk about. I've talked about the principle of ecology, which is the main system. The principle of existential reciprocity says that I am because we are, and as long as I am, we shall continue to be. That is, that as we grow up, that principle, we are taught that human beings come into existence in groups. They survive and progress in groups. There is no such thing as I am who I am. A society is not a fictitious entity. It is an entity made up of unique individuals. So, and those individuals have to contribute to the survival of the community. And the second principle, the principle of existential ordering, this principle says that in the order of existences, certain things come before others. And in a human society, some human beings come before the existence of others. And those who come before have the existential and moral obligation to lead the people who will come after them. And those who come after them have the existential and moral obligation to follow the guidance of those who came after them. Because of that, in Afikpo, there is no such thing like indifferentism by adults. That is, an adult cannot see a young person doing something and say, that's not my son. Actually, in Afikpo, every mom is a mom. Every dad is a dad. If I'm going to say the father of John, I will say, Nna John. My father, the father of John. The first acknowledgement is that the father of John is also my own father. Nna John. That's how we speak in Afikpo. Or Noche, Nonye. That is my grandmother, the grandmother of this. The first acknowledgement is that this grandmother is my own grandmother too. But specifically, she is a grandmom because this particular child is a grandmom. So, and because of that acknowledgement, that if an adult sees a child and says, don't do that, you dare not say that you are not my mom. No, you don't. Because that will get you into more trouble. Because every mom is a mom. And every dad is a dad. And the responsibility that some people are put in Africa that it takes a village to raise a child. It is based on this principle of existential order. Okay. Okay, now we're going to skip in Afikpo, this the Ogo, as Simon Ottenberg this studied, we saw that Ogo is a cultural institution, but Ogo again is applied to villages. So when we say, for example, Elogo, the upper village, or Agogo, the lower village. So Ogo politically means political community. In the development in Afikpo traditional political system, we start from patrilineal. It is you have a man married marries maybe 3 or 4 wives, or just one wife, and all of them, the children, are called Umennachi or Umudi. The women or the co-wives were called the Umudi. That is the children of one husband. And then the men call them Umennachi. That is we are all from one father. If you want to listen to give you an example, you know the 12 sons of Jacob gave rise to the 12 tribes of Israel and became the 12 nations of Israel. So it is not something unique. That's the way it happened. Okay, that you go from all the children of one man, when they expand, they become an extended family system. They become a patrilineage. When they expand, they become a village. In Afikpo, they become Eziakotan, Ezidis, Ezinyogoro. That is dating but showing that if you know this village, this is their ancestor. When that lineage expands very much, then they become Ogo. No village has Obiogo in Afikpo. Villages have Ogu, where the reincarnators, our parents, the ancestors of the living dead, stay. But once they expand, and then they're given Ogo, that means they have acquired political autonomy. They can now implement all the principles of ogocracy. And that is why in Afikpo, God bless his soul, Onekra Lawrence Oko wrote that when we come to Ukpa, for example, Agbo Ukpa now has autonomy. They can discuss issues. Elo Ukpa can discuss issues. If they are not satisfied, they carry it to Ogukpa. So Elo Ukpa is a part of Ogukpa. And the Ogo Ukpa, that is in the larger community, they can discuss issues. If they are not satisfied, they carry it to Ohisu because they are part of Ohisu. And if they are not satisfied, then they carry it to Esa Ehugo. We go set by set. You can go from our Amori. If they are not satisfied, you carry it to Ogosa. And then if you are not satisfied, then you carry it to Ogehugo. The same thing, they can carry it, then come to Opota, to Ogehugo. So all the village groups, that's how they came about to, once you acquire that political autonomy, and then there will be a house, Ulogo, that is the house of peace, where decisions are made. It is also the place that houses most of the sacred masks, and then the most sacred instrument, the ikoro. It is in Obiogo that happens. Okay, I think we have talked about this, so we move on. So yeah, move on. We have talked about this, move on.
Keep moving.
Yeah. Okay. Now welcome to listen to masquerades. Masquerades in all cultural events represent the whole community. Like I told you that in Afikpo, the world is dualistic. There is the world, this world where we are, of the physical human beings, the physical community here. And that physical community is also represented in the spiritual world. And that is why those of you who have seen Okumkpo also, you will see there is women Okumkpo there. If you go through there, it's not just men. There is Okumkpo, there is Okumkpo wine, then a Okumkpo. in everything, in all their masks, there is Lolo, there is Lolo, there is Hip-Hop. So if you see in Jinje, as you see there, you see the boys, you see the girls, you see this. Because for Afikpo people, the world is dualistic, both here and beyond. But what happens is that in the masks, it is through the mask, in the spiritual world, the men represent both the men and the women in the spiritual world. Okay, so that is why you see this Okumkpo is a man playing that. Okumkpo is a man playing that. Jinje is a man playing that. So, but still with that principle that whatever you're doing, you have to represent the entire community. So the men will represent that. They will represent the women there. You can see this Okumkpo there, and then you will see everything. And if you are familiar with everything Afikpo do, there is always this combination. And then in the mask, then that everything that comes out with the mask is Irogo. It is Irogo wears a mask. Click, move on. And when the mask represents a symbol of anonymity, and then it represents the community in general. And that is why no section of the community, especially when it comes to Okumkpo, because Okumkpo is a completely community affair, no section of the community is put aside in Okumkpo, because Okumkpo is one traditional event that involves the entire community. So, when they wear the mask in Okumkpo, there is that representation, and you dare not touch a mask, a masquerade. You don't. When the masquerade comes out, that masquerade is like if you see somebody in a police uniform or in a military uniform, it's no longer an individual. It's a representative of the city. It's a representative of the government. Okay. And if he does something wrong, the government will hold him responsible. In the same way, if any masks, whether it is of terror or of power, misbehaves, then the elders will follow and find out. So, and because of that, that is why you cannot prosecute a masquerade, especially Okumkpo Masquerade. The one that I'll show you is the example of what this prominent man in Afikpo wrote in Afikpo today, that if Okumkpo was a human being, he would have prosecuted Okumkpo. But he knew he wouldn't do that. So you cannot prosecute Okumkpo, because to prosecute Okumkpo is to prosecute the whole community. And if you come to the presentation, if you are there and Okumkpo is revealing the evil you did, instead of getting angry, you are expected to smile and even give Okumkpo a tip. For telling people, go and watch that, you see that, they will point, you are expected to give Okumkpo a tip. You are not expected to get angry. So because of that, that is why we're going to see that Okumkpo is the event that the people use to investigate the crimes and the evils that have happened, of which the community are not aware of. And they are going to reveal that, and they are going to demonstrate that, how that happened. And they will point out the people who were involved. And it involves everybody. So no prosecution, and you cannot be annoyed with Okumkpo, because in the first place Okumkpo is not a human being. So when Okumkpo comes, as I've said, it represents the whole people. There is freedom of expression for Okumkpo. They can say whatever they want. And when we come to this and talk about Islo, the analysis, we'll see why Okumkpo is a form of traditional journalism. Okay, these are samples. These are the masks that the Okumkpo wear. Okumkpo, they are the leaders. The name literally means the father of Okumkpo. They are the producers of the play. Okay. So they are the producers of the play. So they lead the play, and they are very good singers and very good demonstrators, and they can put a narrative into hymns. So this is the one that they wear. This is the one some of the Operaja, some of the young boys wear this one. And yes, this one too, you will see some of them as you go there. And this one, this is some of the Oris, and this is the one that Okumkpo wears, the one over there. Okumkpo, that is the queen of the Okumkpo, as I said, and it represents the princess of the city, and she brings the ceremony to a close. She brings the ceremony to a close. So, Okumkpo is an activity in which the people use, one who see to bring out the moral evils that have happened, to expose bad leaders who have been bad, to expose those who are corrupt, to even expose some of the women who are trying to, what we may call feminism, okay, who are trying to come up, and then dysfunctional families, and then foolishness. I think people don't like foolishness. And especially when you're going up to, in your actions, the way you behave, they're going to expose that. These are some of the things that Okumkpo will expose using rituals. Okay, so to see why this Okumkpo is basically a traditional form of journalism, we know that journalism, that the whole aim is to discover and make public the truth about events and issues in a society, especially the events and issues that the general public have little or no knowledge of, but whose knowledge will contribute to the future benefit of the society. So we see from that point of view that Okumkpo is a community-authorized cultural event. It is the Esas and the Onekras of the village who approve of it, and is those who participate are from the boys from the age of 10 to 55 who participate. But those who play the role, the key role, are from Umennachi to Ishela, that is from the ages of 21 to 55. And these are the people, they investigate the issues. It is a community investigating itself and also investigating adjacent communities. So that's what happens. And in investigating this, they are going to put it in a form that will be a drama. First of all, dramatized, and then the drama will put into a song, and then there will be a dance. See, that's how Okumkpo goes. I'll show you the steps. Okay, so we see that the contents of the play fall into this revealing good and evil, as I said, criticizing leaders, and then ridiculing persons who have acted foolishly, and then the maintenance of moral equilibrium, and then the maintenance of traditional roles and of males and the females. Because in Afikpo, the traditional ethical system is what over here they call natural law ethics. Okay, so the natural law ethics, nature has set the way things have to go. And that natural law ethics even is imperative on things, on animals too. Like if the roads are closed at a different time, it will be punished. So there are certain times, if a banana brings out this at the middle, it will be cut down. Everything in nature has its own role. Nature has said this is the way it should be. And if you go against it, then there will be trouble. And that is why, for example, it is the issue of what we call this lesbianism is very offensive to Africans in general, those from the tradition. Because most African countries at the traditional level practice natural law ethics. Then there are certain things nature has set, and once you go against them, then there is to learn from Okumkpo is the truth about what has happened in the community that we do not know, and in the adjacent communities around. So let the truth be known was from this Afikpo today, the one I told you, the money given by Mbappe and somebody who was in charge of it did not tell the truth. They didn't know, the community wanted to know, so the accused him, the Okumkpo said, you know what happened. If you don't tell us what happened, then you are responsible. And then he wrote this act. And then explaining the whole thing. He wrote this this article. Just I'll give you the paragraph. He said, on 17th January 1993, Okumkpo caused to be recorded as Ogaluzo song that Aniga Bori Lukogoha Werike. You see that what's saying in that. See the song, the introductory song I told you. This guy said that on this day, Okumkpo said that I, Anegabo, embezzled the public money with impunity. And then he told the real truth. Because this man is one of the most upright men in Afikpo. And it was through him that they got the truth. So, that's one of the things that Okumkpo does for Afikpo people. And there are people who call it the spitting cobras, Agwabali. Okay. So these are people who go about in the night telling lies about groups of people and causing the dispute between villages, especially now that there is politics. Some of my brothers and sisters here would know. So in Afikpo we call them the Agwabali. So they go at night and call this, and then Okumkpo tries to reveal them, those people who engage in this. And then the corrupt leaders who accept bribes. And then Okumkpo will reveal them also. And then those who cause disputes, especially land disputes. One of the things that Okumkpo does, especially for those of us who are living outside Afikpo. For example, I am here, maybe this is my uncle, this sells my father's land and gives it to somebody else. If you go home, if you want to find the truth about what happened to your family land, to anything, go to where they are going to present Okumkpo. They will tell you what happened. And once Okumkpo reveals it, you can then challenge that person. Because Okumkpo has said it. That's where Okumkpo is very useful to people who live outside Afikpo. Because, especially in terms of land embezzlement, that you are not there, somebody does something with your land, you go back home, you go there, you listen, and then they will tell you. So, okay, so in this way, that's why Okumkpo is essentially a form of morality play. In this, the community explains how bad persons have behaved, and then try to talk to them the way they should behave. So they criticize their elders, and this is the way Okumkpo is the way that the youth, the adults, the young adults, this age grade, that's the way they are the medium for exposing what they could not say openly. Because you cannot accuse an adult openly. But this means that the young people of the village, the adults, come together, investigate, and then reveal this. Okay, so in this way, Okumkpo tries to reduce the tension between the elders and then the leaders and this generation conflict, because it is where then we have the opportunity to express our views about what is happening, and those who want to become or create individualism, that is where we try to expose them. So Okumkpo is a community play. Its political role is in the sense that it involves the whole community. And how Okumkpo is presented reveals the cohesiveness of that village, the unity of that village. Because it is not easy for the whole village to come together and produce this. And another thing is that Okumkpo is also used for inter-village treaties. For example, if a village does something, let's say, like I said, somebody from Okumkpo had brought a case. They did not resolve it well. They took the case to Okumkpo, they did not resolve it well, and then the person took it to a SAR, that is going from this and this to Supreme Court. And the SAR says to Okumkpo village, you guys mistreated this woman. This is what you're supposed to do. If they refuse to do it, and they say they are going to conduct Okumkpo, Okumkpo will say, no, we're not coming. We're not coming. So, for example, in that one, it happened to Ngom, and in that one, Okumkpo, the one that you have here, one of the songs there was that Ngom Hara Yuko, So when they had done that, they had Elbow people had imposed something to them and said, if you don't do this, you're not going to do this again. And then when they did it, then they were accommodated. So Okumkpo is used to make sure that some villages do not go against the tradition, or that they do not punish somebody in a way that is not according to the tradition. Because any woman, if you have a problem, you can take it, you can raise it. So that is one of the things that Okumkpo does. So, yeah, I've talked about this, and in the area of leadership, as we have said, Okumkpo is used to tell leaders the way they ought to behave, to reveal their bad leadership actions. So in that way, Okumkpo is very, very important to Embu people in trying to reveal to them publicly those those leaders who are not acting well. So in sum, we see that Okumkpo presents valuable comments on politics, morality, and social norms regarding how people ought to behave and the manner in which leaders should or should not behave, and especially embezzlement of public funds. That's just one thing that Afikpo people at the traditional level don't like. And they try to use Okumkpo to dramatize it and condemn it in songs. So we have seen it is for unjust and the acquisition of land. That's why I said Okumkpo is always very useful to Ndelarimba, that is those who are working or living outside the village if anything happens to their land. And Okumkpo brings these three principles in collective identity, collective values, and collective security are stressed in Okumkpo. Those are the three major values in Afikpo, that we are one, and we have the same values, and we protect each other. So thank you, and questions now and comments.
For the sake of time, we can hold questions or comments until after. If you wanted to say a few words.
Well, we are kind of tight on time. Sam is the president. No. Yes. Yes, Madame. Would you like to proceed? I had some comments, but I think in the interest of time, we may need to. Yeah. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Let's give a round of applause to the Umennachi presentation. I doubt if anybody else would have done a great justice to this topic.